Hey Gen Mexers, in this video we're trying out something different. This is going to be a variety show, so we're going to be talking about things like Day of the Dead and Halloween, my travel schedule. We'll have a musical interlude by some of my subscribers, some romantic music. I've got a happy hour coming up. We're going to talk about Gringo Traps, just because that's on my mind, and we're going to also have a little bit of true crime. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to know what you think of this format. You can leave those down in the comments below. And of course, this channel is for people who want to move to Mexico before they retire. Maybe they're retiring early, actually, or maybe they're just getting down there and working digitally, whatnot. That's who I want to help get down to Mexico sooner rather than later. One of the big things that's happening in Mexico right now is we're preparing for Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is a celebration of the dead in the time period right around October 31st through November 2nd, when the recently departed, or I guess just the departed, are able to come back to Earth and have a little celebration with their families. I really like this holiday. It's probably one of the biggest holidays in Mexico. Everyone is out celebrating, creating little altars in their homes. Also in a lot of the shops you're going to see this. Really a great time. It doesn't have anything to do with Halloween. Halloween is what we celebrate in the United States and probably some other countries too. But the thing I like about Halloween is you get to buy all this candy, then no kids come to your house because you live in a neighborhood without kids, and you get to eat the candies. I typically like to find candy that my wife doesn't like, but that I like. But this is a great time to be down in Mexico. If you're down right now, right around the beginning of November, definitely enjoy the festivities that happen around Day of the Dead. And talking about going to Mexico, I will be going to Mexico soon in kind of mid to late November, and I'm going to be traveling. So if you are in one of the following cities, I would love for you to reach out to me, brighton@gen-mex.com, because I would love to interview people who are in these places. I want to bring you the stories of people, expats, who've done this, who've moved south before they turn 65 or the typical retirement age. So if that's you, or you know someone who's in that situation, please have them get in touch with me or connect me with them, because I really want to get their stories. So I'm going to be starting out in Querétaro, and so we'll get some shots from there. We'll bring you a little bit of Querétaro. I'll head over to San Miguel de Allende, also another popular spot with expats. And then I'm going to be heading down to Mexico City. I've already got my tickets to see some lucha libre and already set up some interviews there. So if you have folks in those places, or you have suggestions for me while I travel, I would love to hear those. Head down into the comments below. If you are enjoying this video or any other video from my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. It really helps me out. So now let's have that musical interlude. This is a group of people, a teacher and some students in La Paz. They teach the students English. We had a little agreement that I would post a video to YouTube if they sang a song in both English and Spanish, going back and forth. And so just this week they posted that, or just a couple days ago, they posted that, and here it is. So Besame Mucho by some folks from La Paz.
Okay, Brighton, this is our share of the deal. We sing in English and Spanish, and you upload it to your YouTube channel, okay? It goes. Besame, besame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho, que tengo miedo a tenerte y perderte después. Bésame.
So I love interacting with subscribers, and typically that happens down in the comments, sometimes by email, but if you want to send me a video, maybe it will end up on this channel someday soon. Something also going on right now is daylight savings time ending, and it gets a little complicated at this time period because daylight savings time in Mexico changes at a different time than daylight savings time in the United States. We still have a week or so left in the United States, but Mexico just changed. I think it was last night, October 29th, I guess. So similar to the United States, a couple of states don't practice daylight savings time. So Quintana Roo and Sonora are two of those states. And some of the states that are close to the United States border don't follow Mexican daylight savings time, but they follow the changes according to the United States. So like Baja California along the border there is still in it essentially does whatever California does. So it's a little bit complicated. So it's also something where you can't just set your computer to the equivalent you think of in the United States. So like Mountain Time is typical for La Paz. So but it doesn't work that way during this time period. So you would have to actually set it to, I think it's called Mexican Pacific time, and then it'll change the date on your phone or on your computer, or change the time on your phone or your computer according to the Mexican time zone changes. So a little complicated. I have a video, it's probably up here, that you can look into that a little bit deeper. But in about a week, everything will be back to normal because the United States will change and it'll be kind of back in sync. And it's Sunday, October 30th. Tonight, I am having a happy hour in Portland, Oregon. So you can see I'm bundled up here. I'm still up in Portland. As I mentioned earlier, going to be heading to Mexico soon. But if you are in Portland, Oregon, I hope to see you at Pepino's tonight. And then in early December, I'll be starting out those happy hours once again down in Mexico, in La Paz, on Sunday nights. Now, I've got a huge collection of footage from Mexico that I haven't put into videos yet, so I kind of just collect things as I go. So I want to talk about Gringo Traps. These are traps for gringos because Mexicans are smart enough to not fall into these. So the sidewalks in Mexico are not necessarily, they're not built to the same standards as the United States. So Gringo Traps typically are kind of in two formats. One of them is the change of the level of the sidewalk is very different as you go. Maybe you come to a driveway and there's a drop off, or it comes down really steep, or there's just a spot where there's a big box in the middle of the sidewalk about 6 inches tall. Gringos love to trip over these, or the other one is they're holes in the ground. So gringos like to fall into these. When you're in Mexico, you really need to be watching where you're going. Put the cell phone away. That's also much more safe. And just go ahead and walk and watch the sidewalk in front of you. At some point, I'll probably do a video specifically about Gringo Traps, but right now you get to see some of the footage. So the final thing in today's video, last night I was watching TV, I think it's on NBC, but they had a story of a guy in California, a multimillionaire who killed his wife and then disappeared into Mexico. And I thought this was a great kind of example of life in Mexico for gringos. This guy lived for 5 years in Mexico without being kind of discovered until they really started to track him down, and he started to make some phone calls back to the United States, and he ended up getting caught by the Mexican authorities, which he tried to bribe with a $10,000 in a suitcase. However, it didn't work. He is now serving 15 years in prison in the United States. But I thought this was a great documentary. I love true crime anyway, and so it tells the story of him killing his wife and whatnot, but then escaping into Mexico. So the end of the documentary was more interesting to me because of Mexico and how he moved around and just existed in Mexico as an expat, because people they kind of let everyone just live and let live. So even though he was kind of a strange guy, no one really suspected anything because it's Mexico. Everyone accepts everyone. If you get a chance to watch that, it's on NBC. I'm sure it's on their YouTube channel or their Facebook page or something, so you can catch it. But check it out. It's called Dial M for Missing. So I think there's a whole bunch of them. But this one, his name is Peter Chadwick, and I can't remember what his name was in Mexico. But it's definitely kind of a fun thing if you're looking for something that's slightly Mexico related. So those are the things that are on my mind today. Let me know what you thought of this format of just kind of various variety of things about Mexico. Leave those comments down below, and of course check out one of these other videos up here. That's kind of more of my normal content about life in Mexico. Hasta luego.